Hey everyone, excited to be back for this week's edition of Frequently Asked Questions for Commercial Real Estate. In today's video, what I thought I'd do is talk about a topic that is extremely pertinent to commercial real estate, and especially if you're looking to invest in commercial real estate. And that is the top 4 things that I believe you need to consider that are really risks associated with investing in commercial real estate. Now, before we dive in this video, I would really appreciate if you could like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and ensures more and more people can hear this message and learn about the many facets of commercial real estate. So now that you've already done it, you should have liked and subscribed below. Let's go ahead and dive in this video. So one of the things that I really like talking about, in particular when I'm talking with clients that are looking to invest in commercial real estate, is to consider the risks associated with doing so. And in today's video, we're going to highlight the top 4 risks that you need to mitigate as you go through the process of purchasing a commercial investment property. Now, the first thing you need to consider is mitigating the risk of identifying a bad location. Now, what a bad location is going to be dependent on the property type you invest in. When you're talking about industrial real estate, a good location would be somewhere that has easy access to major roadways, you're close to some of your major suppliers, etc. If you're talking about retail, it may include high traffic count areas that has great visibility and favorable demographics depending on what you're looking to sell. So if it's a luxury good that's being sold in that location, your demographics should also be, high affluent areas that will actually purchase those types of products. Now, in order to mitigate the location risk, you really need to get clear on what type of investment you're targeting. Is it industrial real estate? If it is, you got to make sure that it's going to fall in line with good areas for industrial real estate. If it's retail, you need to consider the opposite. And this is really where a commercial real estate agent should be able to help you immensely in this process. So really, my recommendation in order to mitigate this risk is to sit down with a commercial agent that is very cognizant of the market they're dealing in, so you get an understanding of what locations to target for your commercial investment opportunity. So that's number 1 is location. Number 2 is purchasing a property that has negative cash flow. Now, this is obviously commercial investing 101, is that you want to mitigate the fact that you don't want to lose money every month when you hold a property, but that happens more regularly than you'd imagine. And that really comes down to a variety of different things. First off is if the market's extremely competitive, people start to be willing to pay more for the property, even though the cash flow may not justify that higher price. But since more and more people are competing for that particular asset, people are going to be willing to pay more. Another reason why you may find a property that has negative cash flow is operational inefficiencies, and maybe they're charging below market rents. So in order to mitigate this risk, you really need to be clear on your plan of attack going into it. You shouldn't buy a property with operational inefficiencies and maybe deferred maintenance and all these other things that are wrong with the property unless you have a clear idea of what you're going to do as soon as you purchase that property to turn it around. Not only that, but it's also wise to make sure that your emotions don't get the best of you, because there could be situations where you look at 15, 20, 30, 40 properties, you make offers on them and you don't close on a property. It could be very compelling for some people to ignore the fact that the numbers don't make sense and then make a purchase of a property just because they're tired of having to deal with making consistent offers on a regular basis. So first off, when you're looking to mitigate this risk, make sure you have a plan of attack before you even buy the property. And then number 2, make sure that your emotions don't get the best of you and you stick to the fundamentals. Number 3 reason that it could be a risk associated with investing in commercial real estate is high vacancy rates. Now, there's a variety of reasons why you may have high vacancy rates. Number 1 is potentially even a bad location, and hopefully you've already mitigated that risk on the front end, but there could be the fact that it's just a bad location, and if you're an industrial tenant and it's not a good location for industrial properties, it may be immensely hard for you to lease out that space over a longer period of time. Number 2 reason could be deferred maintenance. Maybe the prior haven't taken care of it and it's not really attractive to tenants as a result of the fact they've deferred the maintenance. And then number 3, which could be even a bigger red flag, in particular when you're talking about industrial real estate, is functional obsolescence. Maybe the building was built a long time ago and the ceiling heights and various other components of the building are no longer favorable for leasing for newer tenants. So that could be a really detrimental reason if you decide to buy the property and now you have a hard time filling it, it's because of the fact that it has functional obsolescence. That could be a big problem for you going forward. So, similar to the previous risk, you want to make sure you have a plan of attack going forward. If the property does have high vacancy, why? Is it a bad location? Does it have functional obsolescence? And this is really where a commercial real estate agent comes into play, because they have an understanding of what tenants are looking for. They have they have an understanding of what changes could be made to a particular property to make it more profitable. So really, that's where you start leaning on the expertise of your commercial real estate agent to make sure that you're able to make a good decision based on what you're looking at. So number 3 is high vacancy rates. And then finally, number 4, which is one of the more problematic things that I've seen in the past, is problem tenants. This could be that the tenants just aren't paying rent on a consistent basis, or they could even just be loud, disrespectful, and potentially dangerous. If you're new to the game and you haven't really dealt with problem tenants, what I usually recommend is that you include or bring in a third-party manager who has experience dealing with these situations, in particular if you're going to be targeting one of these types of properties, because there's a lot of rules and regulations associated with the eviction process, whether you're talking about in a residential setting or a commercial setting. So if you're not familiar with those and you try to go through the process of evicting or getting rid of some of these problem tenants, you may run into some of these issues and potentially legal action can be taken against you. So in order to mitigate the risk, I highly encourage you, if you don't already have experience and have a plan of attack on how you're going to do it, to hire the services of a third-party property management service that has had experience with that in the past. So those are the 4 things that I think you should need to consider as you go through the process in order to mitigate those 4 risks. Obviously, there's a lot more risks involved with investing in commercial real estate, and that's why it's so important to include a commercial real estate agent in the transaction as you go through the process of purchasing a commercial property. If you're in the market to purchase commercial real estate, especially if you're in the Louisville metro or you're targeting the Louisville metro or surrounding areas, I'd love to help you out. Again, I'm a commercial real estate agent specializing in investment property, retail, and multifamily, as well as industrial. If you'd like to talk to me, feel free to reach out. My number is 502-536-7315, or you can reach me via email at Raphael@CrosantiGroup.com. If you like this channel and you like the content I'm producing, please like and subscribe to this channel. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and ensures more and more people can hear this message. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you guys next time.